Good evening, folks. Day 15 of our Brewers Advent Calendar. So let's get right at it. Pacey, open the door and see what style of beer we have tonight. An IPA. See, this is probably the only, actually I know it's the only IPA in the box. IPA, basically India Pale Ale. These are all German beers, and I don't think too many people, when they hear IPA, they think of Germany, but it is what it is. At 6.0% alcohol. Not a lot of information. Basically, Indian Pale Ale. Just to give you a brief history, it's probably not 100% correct, but you'll get the gist of it. Basically, back in the day, Britain was ruling India, and the soldiers were there, and soldiers being soldiers, they wanted beer. The problem is, the beer from England, it was being shipped over, and basically it was going bad before it got to its destination. So what they did, they added more hops to their pale ale to basically act as a preservative, which also increased the alcohol, so it would survive the trip to India. And that's how India Pale Ales were born. So this one, I'll zoom in so you can see it. Indian Pale Ale, it's an interesting beer. It's usually quite hoppy. Originally, I was not a fan of Indian Pale Ale. However, doing these reviews for several years now, I've obviously had quite a few in the 3 years, and I actually find, I wouldn't say it's my favorite beer, but I sometimes enjoy them. I'm not a big fan of beers that are heavily hoppy or heavily malty. I like a balanced beer, and pale ales are normally quite hoppy, and that didn't really appeal to me, but like I said, over the last couple of years, I find I do enjoy them now, and actually occasionally I even crave them. Not all the time, but... And this actually, with that being said, I've enjoyed all the beers here. However, it's been, obviously, Germany, a lot of lagers. So I'm actually looking forward to something different tonight. And the name is obviously in German. Perlenzauber. Alright, let's pour it up and see what we got. 6.0, so it's a little bit high. I wouldn't call it, in my opinion, a really strong beer, but it's higher than, you know, our regular beers that we see are 4.5s and 5s, obviously. Alright, so we got a nice golden color. A little bit of head, not a lot. Pretty clear, typical for an IPA. A fair bit of carbonization going on. I'm getting the smell of hops there. However, it's not as strong as I'm used to for an IPA. Not very strong at all. But let's see how it tastes. That would probably be the least hoppiest IPA I've ever had. Hardly any hoppiness whatsoever. That's quite interesting. As a general rule, IPAs are normally quite hoppy. The extra hops gives it the preservative. However, I'm not getting hardly any hoppiness out of this whatsoever. That's quite interesting. The more I drink, I am getting a little bit more hoppiness. However, nothing compared to every other IPA I've had. With that being said, most PAs, pale ales that I've had, have been hoppier than that. So I'm not quite sure what to make of this. I don't know why it's not as hoppy as it should be, considering it is an IPA. There's not much I'm getting there. That's really interesting. I'm wondering if any of the viewers, especially ones who follow me in the Beer Advent Calendar, if they can explain why it's not hoppy. Like I said, it's probably there's probably extra hops, but I guess they're not maybe dominant flavored hops. I'm guessing. Yeah, there is a little bit of hoppiness there, but not much. Quite honestly, if I was doing a blind taste test and somebody gave me this, I don't think I would ever say it was an IPA. I don't even think I would say it was a pale ale. I'd be almost inclined, probably even I'd be more inclined to think along the lager spectrum rather than an ale. So that's quite interesting. With that being said, rating's going to be interesting. My ratings are always out of 5. A 1 being a drain pour, don't like it, can't finish it. I'm literally going to pour it down the drain. A 2 is like, yeah, I'm not a big fan, but I'll finish it. A 3 would be a good beer. A 5 would be a very good beer, and a 3 would be a good beer. A 4 would be a very good beer, and a 5 would be the best beer ever. I said it was going to be interesting rating this because it's obviously an easy drinking beer. If I had to rate this as to how it tasted for its beer style, like how it fit into the IPA spectrum, if you will, I'd probably give it a fairly low rating because, like I said, I would never suspect this would be an IPA. However, I've said it before, my ratings are, there's no science behind it, it's just my personal preference, and quite honestly, I find this a very easy drinking beer. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. So basically between a good beer and a very good beer. Now I know some IPA lovers would probably taste that and go, no, lower, but it has to do with basically how it tastes. And it tastes pretty good, damn good beer to me. Yep. There you go, folks, for day 15. 3.5 for our Perlenzauber IPA. Hopefully you can join me tomorrow. We'll see what's in day 16. Until next beer, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.